10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, I'm Amanda with DevExpress, and I am here with Don Wibier. Don, how are you doing?
Hey Amanda, I'm fine. And yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a while.
It
I mean, for
it
you and I at least.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean we have reduced the amount of streams right now. So yeah, we do it like every other week typically. So yeah,
Yes, and you
but
got to go on
nevertheless it's
vacation
gonna be cool anyway.
last week. So, which I mean, you could have used this app. Did you book a hotel or did you stay with family on your
Uh
vacation?
I need I need to finish a couple of pages before I can actually book, but then it will go nowhere. So I'd rather use another means of booking a hotel.
Yeah,
But
right now.
yeah,
Well, that said, so what are we adding to this Blazor app today?
well, we have been working on the homepage, as we can see. Well, this is actually the ASP.NET one, so the web forms version. And what we're going to do today is we are going to work on the results page. So first, let's check that out quickly. If I click any location here, we'll go to this page, and this is what we're going to work on today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so there are obviously a couple of challenges which we will touch base on, but let's first get back to the Blazor project and let me boot that up as well. Um, I think I have to switch headphones because I don't hear you anymore.
You don't hear me? Do you hear me now? Don?
So I have to get the big ones.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. I mean, I'm not saying a ton.
No, but I do hear you loud and clear
Okay.
now.
All right, perfect.
All right, so well, this you can't hardly see any difference, do you? I mean, this is the Blazor thing that we've built so far, and I have to say I'm pretty happy with it. Uh,
It looks
last time,
good.
yeah, I would say so. And obviously, last time we streamed, it was all about this totally cool gallery
Mm-hmm.
that I used from our DevExtreme product suite. And this also brings us to something else. And I, I'm not gonna lie, I have prepped a couple of things because if we switch over to the ASP.NET WebForms version, what we'll see is a slider where you can select some values like a nightly rate and a customer rating. And this is a control which is on our roadmap, but I need it now. So I have also prepped some work and I created a DevExtreme wrapper so we can use this same functionality in the Blazor application. And yeah, we're not going to talk too long about it because I did change a couple of things for that. And let me quickly go over that. So as you can see, if I'm able to, I think I can zoom in on this as well. So here we have our DX Hotels controls assembly. And the last time I have added this gallery thing together with the loader, the resource loader. Oh, I just put a red line through it. So we created this one and we created this one together with some JavaScript. And I have moved the code over to a C# file. And what you can also see is that I've created a base widget. And I mean, feel free to check it out if you want to see how that works. But typically, what I've done, I've put in a couple of abstract things, and the whole loading of the JavaScript is done in the base class. And with this in place, I was able to set up my slider quite quickly as well. So I copied over the properties from the documentation into the dictionary, as you can see, and I specified the DevExtreme JavaScript file to load the options, etc. And this gives me that slider, which we will see in a minute.
Nice.
Same for the range slider. It's pretty much the same, except for some different properties. So that's why I decided to prep that up front. So we move on with some cool Blazor stuff instead. I will put this on GitHub so you can check it out yourself as well. All right, so another thing that I'd like to point out from before we start coding is that in Blazor, there are various ways of maintaining state, the state of your UI. And I have decided we could do this in Blazor. We could maintain the state differently as we do it in WebForms, but I decided to use the same approach so we don't need to change all of the code basically. And if we watch closely on how this works in the WebForms application, if we go to the browser and we take a look at the URL, so right here, what you see is that the state of the application is typically maintained in the URL. You see that? So
Oh,
if I change the location in the UI, that will make the URL switch with another location. In this case, it's 8. But if I would go to another location here and I change it to the Bahamas and hit apply, what you'll see is right here that the location has changed.
to 6.
It's changed to 6, exactly. The same goes for the date. So typically all the filtering, which is the state that we want to maintain, is done by query string parameters. And well, as I said, we can do that differently in Blazor, but in this case, I can copy that URL to you and you paste this URL in your browser and you'll have the same results. So this kind of state management has some advantages as well. So that's why I decided to use the same approach, and we can take over a lot of code from the WebForms application for it as well. So how does that work? Well, if I go back to the Blazor, let's first go back to the WebForms application. And if we take a look, what we'll see in the results page. So here's the result page of the WebForms application. If I check the code behind, what we'll see is there is a base page. And that base page has a constructor which gets a parameter with a name. So let's first check out what's going on there. So in the base page, there is a constructor which gets the name. It's got a property search state, and this search state is a thing that is able to produce a URL with query string parameters, and it is also able to unripple the query string into the correct parameters. So if I go to the search state, we'll pass the query string parameters in here, and it will get an object with all those fields that were selected, basically. And then there is a bit of checking here, which is obviously important, but not for this demo, because we're just going to use this code, which is pretty much the same. So let's go back to the Blazor application and create a base page as well. So we can, yeah, keep the code more or less in the same direction. So here I'm going to add a class, which is base page. And this base page descends from component base. And now what we do is we can typically, we need to do one extra thing, and that is we need to deal with those query string parameters, which is not really, well, we have to, yeah, how do you say it? We have to put some extra code in that because the query strings in Blazor are dealt with separately. But fortunately, we can create an extension method to deal with that. And I will put that in a minute. Let's first start with the public base page. In this case, Copilot is assisting me, but this won't work.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, but still you need to check what it is doing because I cannot use a parameter in a constructor in Blazor. That won't work.
Hmm.
So I have to change a couple of things here, but I was going to copy that code in from the other one anyway. So this was nice. I'm also going to create an abstract class from this. And the reason for that is that I need to specify that name. So for this, I will do a protected abstract name, and I will only need to get it. And then I need that search state. I'm going to use the same search state. That's not what I want. I think I did put it in, did I? Have a quick check. Didn't I copy that over yet? Could be. Yeah, I think I didn't take that over yet. So let's copy that in. The search state, copy. Put it in right here. This needs to be changed to hotel booking context. And we need to check a couple of things. One of the things is that this data context is probably not necessary. I want this out. And there is also some code involved for the reporting, I think. Let me have a check here. I'm going to change a couple of things here. The booking context is going to be the data context, and that has to do with the dependency injection that we might want to use, etc. So we don't want to keep a reference inside this class. And there are some static methods, as you can see. All right, so I think this should be okay. And also what I want to get rid of is that context. yeah, so let's get rid of this as well. And if I would now go to my base page, the search state is found. Now, one of the other things that I want to do, because last time, maybe you noticed it, my culture was set to Dutch, which which prints the currency, the prices, etc., in euros, and obviously we're dealing with US dollars in this site. So I'm gonna also set the default localization to US. And you can do that by putting in a culture info, and then we can go to the base page constructor and say culture info dot default thread current culture is that, and culture info and the current UI culture. So if I now want to print a number, which is a currency number, then it will print a US dollar sign in front of it. Then what I can also do in this base page is I can put that search state in, and I can inject a couple of things that we are probably going to need anyway, which is the navigation manager and the DB context. I'm going to need that anyway, which is the hotel booking context. And now that code that was in the, hey, this is Copilot. And this is actually what I wanted to do. That's pretty clever, right?
Yeah.
With the exception that the search state, yeah, it didn't do it totally. I want to make this a new search state. You always have to double check the results with Copilot because it's not always 100% right. And now I need to have this name value collection of parameters, which are the query string parameters that are on the current URL. And this is the easiest way of doing this is to add some code to do so. I will put in this already. And let me see if the state is not valid, we'll redirect to the home page. So now that query string method, that's going to be an extension method. And I can set that up pretty quickly by using this. The name value collection is something which happens to be in, where was that again? Here. And then there is this HTTP utility namespace, which has this parse query string method, and that will return that name value collection, which is what we need. We can also do it another way, and let's put that in as well. If I would create a public static query string this dot navigation manager. Hey. Oh, I didn't specify a type here. Navigation manager. string key. And now I can return the navigation manager query string like this. So now I have added two methods. One returns all the parameters in the name value collection, and the second one I can get an individual query string parameter if it's there. And now you can see that that has gone away. And why is this complaining? Because that name is should go like this. So with this, I have prepped the base page, which mimics the functionality of the WebForms application. So if you go to like a page which descends from this one and it didn't get any query string parameters, it will redirect to the home page. Now we can focus on the results. So let's add a new razor component here, which I will call results.razor. And we can now start by putting in some stuff. So the first thing I will do is I will specify on this page that it should inherit from my base page. I can probably get rid of this because it's in the same folder. No, it didn't. And I will put this in DX Hotels Blazor components pages. And then I will put a URL. I'll assign a URL to it, which will be results. And now we can copy over. This is weird. Let me check that one more time. Yeah. So this can go. All right, so what we already created, we used that on the home page. Let me go back to that. We also created this page control, which allows us to specify the body content together with the footer content. So let's go there and put that in. Page control. And the body content is going to be there. And also the footer content is going to be there as well. And let's have a look at the WebForms page to see if we can copy over some code. Let's start with the simple one, which is the footer. So I'll go all the way down and put that in here. Oh, it should be in here. And now let's see what we can copy over from the body. So in this case, we'll start with the results header. And we need to make some changes here. So the first thing is that the image is, I think it is just a simple image, so we can just change that in image with a source, which is state. Oh, didn't I? What happened here? Maybe I should build it. Metro. So, and if we check this on the WebForms page, what we'll see is, where is that page here? So this image is going to be loaded, and where's the thing? I think that's going to be loaded here somewhere. Must be loaded somewhere. There it is. But we don't need to do it right now. We can do that the Blazor way, which is just using this expression. All right, and the same goes for this. We can change this into state, metro area, area name. And we can change this as well. So let's see if we can build this, if I didn't forget anything. And yes, I did. The namespace UI does not exist in here. Yeah, I think this can go. This can go as well, I guess.
You agree with that?
I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, I think the system.web.ui is actually WebForms namespace, so we don't want to do anything with that anyway. And then there was that base page. Yeah, I knew it was complaining about something. And that is the type or namespace page base. And that is probably because it is base page. And now, yeah. Remember that I made that name abstract in the base page.
Mm-hmm.
So that was this one. So I have to implement that. And I can do that by saying override name. And I'm going to give it the same name as the original one. So for that, I will check the results. And I'll go to the constructor, and it's going to be this one. I'm not entirely sure why this is in the demo, but I decided to go with the original flow to see that it is possible to somehow reuse your WebForms code into a Blazor application. So I've decided not to change too much on the structure of the application since the architecture is quite well.
Okay.
All right. There is one other thing that we need to do on the main or on the search box, because that search box on the home page, if I click that button, perform search, if I remember correctly, nothing is done here. So that means if we hit the search button, nothing is done.
Nothing happens.
We'll still keep looking at that beautiful gallery,
Hmm.
which is nice, but not for hours. Okay, so let's see how that has been dealt with in the WebForms version. So here we have a bunch of codes and there is that search button. And here you can see how that state is being maintained through the URL by using that search that search state thing. So let me copy this over, head back to the search panel control in Razor, and we only need to do a couple of small things. The first one is that we need to include that name value collection namespace. And this is going to be different as well. It's been a while, I know, but what we did, I created this search model. We're now dealing with the search box, right? So I've created a search model that will hold all the values that are put in. And if I go back to this home page, so all the parameters in this box are being put together in that search model in the Blazor app. And that's good, because now I can just say search model dot location dot ID to string. So that's that name value collection only works with the strings. And I can do the same here. Search model dot check in date, I think it was check in to string. Search model dot check out date to string. Search model dot rooms and search model dot adults, search model dot children. And the value can go. We're not going to be redirecting to an ASPX page anymore, so I can remove this, and I will use that data provider class, which is also one of the utility classes from the web page, the WebForms version. Let me see where that went. That is also a class that I can copy over. I'm going to put that right in here. Where is it? Yeah. And this is not going to work, the session stuff. And this is a bit of caching. So let's first start by changing this by not caching this anymore. So it's not most optimum, but we can see if we can deal with this later. So what I'll do is I'll just return this and comment this out. This won't work in Blazor at all. And then if I'm not mistaken, yeah, there is some reporting code as well. So let's for now comment that out. We'll deal with the reporting another time if there is any interest for it. Okay. And this was the web forms. We have to be careful which code we're modifying. Yeah, so now it can find it. How did I comment out too much of it? I probably did. Yep. And well, the page callback is also something which we are not using anymore, but more important, what we can do now is navigation manager, which is probably something we need to inject to here. Yeah, so let's inject the navigation manager. All right. So typically I copied this code over. I made a couple of small adjustments because of the naming, and obviously the response.redirect doesn't exist, and also the page is callback doesn't exist. So instead we use the navigation manager, but this code with everything that comes with it is just unchanged from the original one. So I think we can check it out. Let me check one thing. Yeah, I gave this small caps. Oh, this is the wrong one. Don't save. Where is it? This one. All right, so I think we can now have a look to see if we can navigate away from the home page once we hit search. Let's see, where is my, this is the web forms, and here is the Blazor. And if I now select any of the locations, in this case Las Vegas, and hit search. Okay, so I guess the first thing is done because we are navigating away to the results page.
Right.
And also those parameters are added as query strings. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So this is obviously something that we need to get the results for the selection. And now we just need to put in the controls and do a bit of styling here and there, and we're probably done. Or so. Okay, so let's get back. And obviously this is not, that was not good. If you check it here, there is a break tag, so we need to put that in nice. And the image is also not displayed properly, so let's see what we can do on that. This was the search panel control, which we can remove. The image map URL. That filter, we need to deal with that in a different way. we want to print it as raw data because that break tag is in there. And the way that we can do it is by putting in a new markup string, which will get some text in it. And it will now be printed properly. So if I would go here, we have that now with the break in, you see? So that's the first step.
Nice.
That image, let's see what goes wrong in that image. Oh, it has that thing in front of it. This is like a typical WebForms notation that, how do you call this?
Squiggle?
The what?
Is it a squiggle?
Yeah, I know
Is that the
how we call
technical
it.
term?
Yeah, that little wobbly thing that should go. So how can we do that? If I'm not mistaken, let me have a quick check here. The map image URL is an extension method or property, and we can just remove it from here. And if I would do it here as well, let's see if there's any more.
Don, it's called a tilde.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if that was it in English as well. In Dutch, it's the same.
Oh.
Yep.
So not wobble, wobbler, squiggle.
Yeah, it sounds a bit wobbly. Okay, fortunately that was fixed quickly. So we have that image here on top as well, you see?
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that I notice is that this is not entirely aligned properly. It might have something to do with the fact that we included Bootstrap or whatever, but we can quickly see what's going on here. If I would go here, inspect that thing. And if I would probably say that I put the height, right now the height has been set, you see? So if I put that height away, you'll see that the image is good. The only thing is that the column is not properly set, so that should be a bit higher. Let's see if I add something. Oh yeah, that will probably do it. Oh, that's the wrong one. This one needs to be a bit, here is the height specified, you see? So if I would make that a bit bigger, then we'll have it properly aligned. So I have to put that results header and I have to do something with the map image. So let me quickly move over here and go here. You should typically put this in the style sheet, but for now I will not do it. Height 130 pixel, and that image, I will do this as follows: style with unset, height unset. For some reason, my hot reload is not working properly, but my image is. You see, so it's now properly aligned. And now we can put in some results. Let's see how that looks on the web forms page. So this is what we want to do. And there is a pager on the bottom. So I guess we can use the DevExpress data grid with a cell template. So we can use the pager of this of the grid to get this behavior, right? Let's move back to here and see what's going on in the results of the web forms application. So here we are putting in some, we need this. So I'm just going to copy over all this markup, including the filtering, everything which is in there, but I will probably remove some and then put something in back when we're there. So it's going to be this. And this, yeah, I thought there was one too many. This is the filter, if I'm not mistaken. We need to deal with that differently. So let's remove this for now and paste it in back later. And yeah, now here it is using a data view, and that's something we don't have for Blazor. So let's do it like I supposed with the data grid. And I'm not sure why this is not properly indented. Okay, so let's put in the DX grid. I will bind the data to hotels. I'll get to that a bit later. And it was having a page size of, let's see, I think 3. 1, 2, 3. So I'll do that as well. And that's it for now. Then I will add the columns. And I'll put in a DX grid data column. Put a field name. Name of hotel dot. Dot name. While we're working on this, I will put that in the imports here. All right, so now I can pick, if we go to the website, our demo site, so demos.devexpress.com, and I will go to my grid, templates. What we'll see is we have a cell display template on column level, which is for individual columns. And there is another one which is for all columns. And that's typically, I mean, we're going to add just one column, so we can use that lower one for all the columns. And we can put that right here. So that's just going to be data column cell display template. What we need is a reference to the particular hotel that it is rendering. So if I do for hotel context, oh, what's happening? Yeah, context dot data item as hotel. And now we can remove a couple of things here because we are typically interested in the item template that will render out one of those hotels. So that's this. I'm going to put that right in that template and remove that grid, or the data view, sorry. And now we can start modifying a couple of things here. So let's start with the hotel image. Oh, and I think we need to put something on top of this, which is, if I'm not mistaken, if we check the original version, inspect, what we'll see is that there is a TD which renders the entire block for a hotel, but there's this item, and this item class is styled in the application, so we need to surround the item template with an item div. So we can do that by, I don't know why this is happening. Like this, and we put that all the way down here. And now we can start changing a couple of things, and one of them is, for instance, this image. And this is going to be the, we can copy that from the hotel dot primary picture dot URL, which is the same as here. And then we need something surrounding it, which is a href. And for this, we can also say get hotel details URL. We're now copying over this behavior. And this is going to be hotel.id. So now we have replaced this. Maybe we should put in some width and a height. Here we have something else, which is a hotel name, and it's got a class of this. So let's, where does that link to? It links to the same. So I can do it like this. Hotel title. And then we're going to put in the hotel name. This is also going to be replaced. Okay, let's first see how this looks before we go any further. So I'm going to comment out this, all of this. I'm going to copy out this. I'm copying out this. One thing that we need is that get hotel details URL. And let's see how that works. If I go to the web forms version of it, where is that? Here. This one. This seems okay. The only thing we'll need to change here is we can remove this one and change this to details and get rid of that one. So again, yeah, we're copying over quite a bit of stuff. Let's remove this as well. And there is that book button that should be disabled. All right, so let's have a quick look on what we've done so far. Oh, why? Oh, why?
Front row.
Shouldn't be a big deal, but for a hotel, is that? Yeah, this is not a big deal. What was it saying? Of course. Of course. Why is that thing always right?
And why is it always telling me what to do?
Yeah, well, it's typically always right. I mean, it does exactly what you tell him to do, no less and no more. So I can just put in this hotels, which is an IEnumerable hotels, and I will probably need to copy out some stuff from the web forms application. Let's see if we can do that. So yeah, there is a find hotels. Let's put that in as well. But now it starts complaining about this should be the data context itself. And there is this check hotel filters. And the check hotel filters, we're almost for an hour already.
Yeah.
So we probably have to deal with the filtering next time. But that's no big deal. That check hotel filters will obviously check the state of the controls that we haven't put in yet. So what I'll do is I'll comment out a couple of those things. The hotel cities metro ID, that is cool. We haven't been dealing with the track bar, the pricing, customer rating can go out, and filtering as well. Yeah, and this as well. Let's keep it simple for now. So we can work on this next time. Data context is unavailable. That is weird. I thought I made it. Oh, it is right again. I thought I made it protected, but I didn't. That thing is always right. Okay, so we had something here. Let's change that to hotel dot start price to string. And because I have set that culture somewhere in code, it will now print it in US dollars because that was what we were dealing with anyway. This can go. Let's see what it says. Hotels does not contain a definition for cities. Hey, I thought it did. That we changed to city. That is what we did in the first stream about this demo conversion. That scaffolding tool with EF core is generating city, while the older one on EF6 on WebForms was producing cities, which is a bit silly, but yeah. Fortunately, my brains still work. In the meantime, I think that it built. Yeah. Okay.
Cities, cities, potato, potato.
Yeah.
Oh,
No. No.
let's see.
Sorry.
Were we in the
We were in the
web
WebForms
forms?
one. Yeah.
It still looked nice.
Yeah. Okay. No data to display. Let's fix that because I did put in that find hotels method, but what we need to do is we need to call that somewhere in the process as well, which we didn't. So let's do that in the override on initialized async here. And we'll make this awaitable. And now I can say hotels dot is find hotels to list. Like this. Oh, wow.
What's all that?
And yeah, this is something else, which is also working slightly different from EF6. And that is the lazy loading feature with Entity Framework. We are trying to query. I'll tell you what goes wrong here. The filter is doing something with the city, which is a sub-entity of the hotel. And it's also doing something with that metro area ID. So what we need to do is with the hotels collection, we need to explicitly include, it needs to fetch the hotel. Oh, I want to make it like this. City as well. going to be city. And a bit further down the road, we need to include the H dot picked rooms, the pictures as well. Like this. And before this works, we need to include this one. Yeah, so if I do not include this method, it will not fetch this data, and therefore it cannot filter on that metro area ID, which we want. So let's see if this works any better. Yeah, so now you see that it will not give that exception anymore. The only thing is that it is not displaying anything, which it should. So let's see what went wrong here. If item. All right, so let's put in a couple of things. It should now display it properly. Hey, that is kind of weird. It does filter, or it does page, but it
Yeah,
doesn't.
it's got the pages, but
The column display templates. It does the hotels, the hotel name. Oh, it is going to be DX grid data column, I think. Oh, look at that. We have the hotels. You see that?
aha.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So now the only thing we need to do is we need to put in a small bit of extra styling. I'm still wondering, so that column needs to go out. I still have the feeling I forgot to include a div or so. Let's have a quick check. Results content. Results header. Let's put in I did put in the results filter. I think I forgot some tag here, I guess. Let's see what that was. Results header. Content column. This is what I forgot, I guess. Here we are.
Oh, that looks nice.
Yep. And it includes the paging as well. See? And we have the London location selected here, which we can actually see here as well. So if I go back to the web forms, and that is obviously one of the most important things, you should check if the results are the same. Yeah, so I'll select London, and it has the Metropolis Hotel, Lancaster Inn, and the Royal Grand, and it's got 2 pages. So if I check this out, it got
Metropolis
the same. You see
Hotel.
that?
Mm-hmm.
So that means that we have reused any of the business logic inside the web forms application, which results in the same set of data. And the only thing that we need to do now is a bit of more styling. So for instance, if we want to get rid of this column in the grid, because there is typically one column, we can use an event on the grid for that. Let me quickly put that in. So if I would go back to the grid, where was the grid? I can use the onCustomize element method of the grid. And if I start coding that in, I can say void and that will receive a number of, it will receive one parameter. Let me quickly check the documentation on how that was. And so if I would go to the grid customization, and I go to here, it should have that. So here it is, customize element. I can copy it over in my methods. And now I can say, this is a hotel. But what I typically want to do is if that element type is the header row, I'm going to put in a bootstrap class of display none. And if I would now run the application, you'll see that the header has gone. You see?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I think that we are done for today.
Hey, Don, so we did have a comment that came in.
Yeah.
Saying, doing excellent. I hope this Blazor project will work as initial will work as an initial auto-generated project as a module in XAF, like a DevExpress XAF project provided same time with a WinForms and web application. Also request to add a mobile project like Android, iOS into an XAF project.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, because what we're actually doing here is we are having an existing WebForms application and we are transforming that into a Blazor application. So this is typically something which is not related to XCF. And I'm also not entirely, it's not entirely clear to me about this question.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's best to get in touch with our XCF support team to explain what you want to do or what you like to see in our XCF project, and we can discuss details with you. So please contact our support.
Yeah. All right. Well, Don, where do you think we're headed with this puppy next?
Well, I think there is still something really interesting missing, which I actually prepped, but still time
Didn't
flies.
get to it.
We're having fun, right? So next time we're going to be dealing with this tiny little filter box and see how we can
Oh.
do that. I mean, that was actually where I wanted to end, but time flies when we're having fun.
Yes.
We did actually do quite a bunch of cool things by moving over this results page. But that's going to be next, I guess.
Yeah, with the sliders and all that jazz on the right. Okay.
All the bells and
All right.
whistles. Yep.
Looking forward to it. All right, everybody, we are off next week, but you can expect us back mid-March. And that's it for this one. Thanks, Don. Thank you all for joining us. And thanks for choosing DevExpress. Bye-bye.